While I'm not at this time a candidate for the presidency, I will decide by June whether or not I will become one. Our current president came out of nowhere. Came out of nowhere. In fact, I'll go a step further. The people that went to school with him, they don't even know, they never saw him. They don't know who he is. I have no record. Can't be criticized. Wonderful guy. He's a nice man, but there was no record, nothing to criticize. He didn't go in wars. He didn't go in battles. He didn't beat this one, that one, have enemies all over the place. Nobody knew who the hell he was. He's now our president. Business Week magazine, which is now Bloomberg Business Week, said in a vote of its readers that Donald Trump was the world's most competitive business person, with Bill Gates being number 2 and Warren Buffett being number 3. I've beaten many people and companies, and I've won many wars. I have fairly but intelligently earned many billions of dollars, which, in a sense, was both a scorecard and acknowledgement of my ability.
When do we beat Mexico at the border? They're laughing at us, at our stupidity. And now they're beating us economically. They are not our friend, believe me. But they're killing us economically. The U.S. has become a dumping ground for everybody else's problems. When Mexico sends its people, they're not sending their best. They're sending people that have lots of problems. They're bringing drugs, they're bringing crime, they're rapists, and some, I assume, are good people. Frankly, I don't even think they give a damn about education, half of them. And I'm sure some maybe do.
You want to use that word in this forum?
I will. Because people want to hear the truth, Frank. I watch you all the time. They want to hear the truth.
Correct.
Frank, we have to be able to express ourselves.
But referring to people as rapists, referring to John McCain, a war hero, 5.5 years as a POW, and you call him a dummy. Is that appropriate in running for president?
Okay, you got to let me speak, though, Frank, because you interrupt all the time, okay? So, no, I know him too well. That's the problem.
I would never give up my microphone. I thought that was disgusting. That showed such weakness. The way he was taken away by 2 young women. The microphone, they just took the whole place over. That will never happen with me. I don't know if I'll do the fighting myself or if other people will. But that was a disgrace. The way they took, I felt badly for him. But it showed that he's weak.
The Pew Research says that there are, for immigrants on the whole,
Come on, try getting it out. Try getting it out.
I'll get it out.
I mean, I don't know if you're going to put this on television, but you don't even know what you're talking about. Try getting it out. Go ahead. We have a total net worth, and now with the increase, it'll be well over $10 billion. But here, a total net worth of $8 billion. Net worth, not assets, not liability, a net worth. Part of the beauty of me is that I'm very rich. I said trade deals. Who would do better? I know, I'll tell you what, I know the greatest negotiators in the world. Some are horrible people, horrible human beings. Who cares? Some Wall Street guys, they're brutal, they're miserable. You wouldn't want to go out to dinner. They're terrible people. I love them. You know who's our primary representative right now? Carolyn Kennedy. You know how she got the job? 60 Minutes. She went to the White House. She said, I'd love to have a job. I have nothing to do. They said, how would you like to be the ambassador to Japan? She goes, really? You know why I say she's nice? Because my daughter Ivanka likes her. My daughter's so great. She's such a great person. My daughter likes her. She said, Daddy, she's such a nice person. I agree. I don't want a nice, I want to kill her. We're tired of the nice people. What do you need to spend $1 million? We just spent, it's a story today, $1 million on a soccer field. How do you spend $1 million doing a soccer field? You have a level piece of land. Throw them a ball, let them play soccer, if they have to play at all. See, you're not supposed to say that somebody graduated last or second to last in their class, because you're supposed to be, like Frank says, very nice. Folks, I want to make America great again. We want to get down to brass tacks. We don't want to listen to his stuff. with being politically correct and everything has. We have a lot of work to do.
First of all, Rand Paul shouldn't even be on this stage. He's number 11. He's got 1% in the polls, and how he got up here, there's far too many people. Anyway.
Would we not all be worried to have someone like that in charge of the nuclear arsenal?
Mr. Trump.
I never attacked him on his look, and believe me, there's plenty of subject matter right there. That I can tell you.
But Jake,
I want to give Mr. Trump.
He would give a sermon you never wanted to leave.
sometimes we have sermons, and every once in a while we think about leaving a little early, right, even though we're Christian.
Very militaristic person, but you have to know when to use the military. I'm the only person up here that fought against going into Iraq.
Can I make a response to that?
Just excuse me 1 second, Rand, if you don't mind, Rand. You know, you are on last, you do have your 1%.
What do you do with the ones already here? You've talked about building a great wall on the border, or at least parts of the border, about being tough. What would you do with the ones that are already here?
Something very, very strong. Number one, I wouldn't even think about anything until I built a wall impenetrable. There will be nobody coming into this country illegally.
But actually, arrests on the border have gone up significantly.
I can just say this. More people are in this country right now illegally than ever before. I will build a better wall, and I'll build it for cheaper, and Mexico will pay, if that's your next question.
Yeah, how do you get Mexico to pay?
Because they are ripping us left and right.
But
Mexico.
how do you make
By the
them
way,
pay?
I love the Mexican people. Many Mexican people work for me. Many Mexico people I do business with. They purchase things for me, like apartments, et cetera, et cetera. I have great relationships with Mexico and with the Mexican people. I love the Mexican people. I love their spirit. I love the Mexican people. Two waiters came up to me tonight. Mr. Trump, we love you. I said, where are you from? Mexico. I said, that's great. I love you too. I do. I love Mexico. I've had tremendous relationships with people in Mexico. But I said, we need a strong border. I said, we need a wall.
Who will build the wall, and how will it be met?
I will build the wall, and Mexico is going to pay for it, and they'll be happy to pay for it, because Mexico is making so much money from the United States.
Donald!
Enrique!
I brought you the check for the wall.
Oh, that's so wonderful. This is far too much money.
No, I insist. Consider it an apology for doubting you.
10 years ago, everybody wanted the wall. The Democrats, the Republicans, they couldn't get it. You know one of the reasons they couldn't get it? Environmental impact statements. Did you know that? There were toads. There were it's the most incredible thing.
A businessman. I got along with Clinton. I got along with everybody.
Yeah.
That was my job, to get along with people.
But the
I
simple
didn't want
fact
to,
is...
Excuse me. 1 second.
No.
I didn't
want to...
The simple fact
is, Donald, you cannot take...
More energy tonight. I like
No.
that. Look.
I was asked the question.
I didn't want... It was my obligation as a businessman, to my family, to my company, to my employees, to get along with all politicians. I got along with all of them, and I did a damn good job in doing it. Go ahead.
So...
Yes, come. Take a picture. Real fast one. From Brazil. Go ahead. I mean, we're losing our base. We're losing our jobs, our manufacturing. We're losing everything. We don't have victories anymore. Everything is bad.
We hear the economy's coming back.
Not coming back. You better watch it. You're going to get run over by a truck.
We need somebody that can take our jobs back, Frank, because we're going to hell. Our country's going to hell. And Frank doesn't like the word hell, but we're going to hell. But our people don't have a clue. We give state dinners to the heads of China. I say, why are you doing state dinners for them? They're ripping us left and right. Just take them to McDonald's and go back to the negotiating table. Seriously. Well, I heard Hugh Hewitt, a nice man, he apologized because he actually said that we had a misunderstanding, and he said today that Donald Trump is maybe the best interview there is anywhere that he's ever done. Now, unless he was just saying that on CNN to be nice, but he did say that.
Oh, you're the best interview in America.
And we had a legitimate misunderstanding in terms of his pronunciation of a word, but I would say just, well, I think it was. And he actually said that. Did you say that?
And so radio makes an interesting thing.
Okay, so I will say this, though. You was giving me name after name, Arab name, and there are few people anywhere that would have known those names. I think he was reading them off a sheet.
And Fox hasn't touched this. And I've been in touch with Kelly, too. And I've been in
Let's go. Come on. Gotta go.
All right.
Gotta go.
There's
You're screwing up my whole speech this guy.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
There's counterfeit substandard parts in most of the nuclear plants in the United States.
Counterfeit substandard parts in nuclear plants in the United States. I'm not surprised to hear that. Why? Am I surprised?
And some of them have come from China. Now, when I brought...
And in airplanes, too, by the way.
When I brought this out, the NRC, Nuclear Regulatory Commission, accused me.
John McCain goes, oh boy, Trump makes my life difficult. He had 15,000 crazies show up. Crazies. He called them all crazy. I said, they weren't crazy. They were great Americans. These people, if you would have seen these people, I know what crazy is. I know all about crazies. These weren't crazy. So he insulted me, and he insulted everybody in that room. And I said, somebody should run against John McCain, who has been, you know, in my opinion, not so hot. And I supported him. I supported him for president. I raised $1 million for him. It's a lot of money. I supported him. He lost. He let us down. But, you know, he lost. So I never liked him as much after that, because I don't like losers. But Frank, let me get to it. He hit me. He's not a war hero.
He's a war hero.
He's a war hero.
5.5 years.
He's a war hero because he was captured. I like people that weren't captured, okay? I hate to tell you.
Do you agree with that?
He's a war hero because he was captured.
Newsflash, the Republican Party's been fighting against a single-payer system for a decade. So I think you're on the wrong side of this if you're still arguing for a single-payer system.
I don't think you heard me. You're having a hard time tonight.
All right, I'm not involved because I'm in the nursing home profession.
Okay, come on, you know, I gotta go. Hey, come on.
Oh, wait a minute. No, let me finish this.
Okay. You know what? I think your question's great, and I can understand. He's talking about basically counterfeit parts, just to cut to the chase. We don't have to know that you're in the nursing home business. What, are you trying to talk to some of us about joining your little home? Come on, sit down. Enough. We think it's good. We think your point is good. Yeah, give it to him. Good. They said to Marco Rubio, are you having fun? He's sweating like a pig. I never saw a guy sweat like this. The sweat is pouring down. I think Rubio is a low energy. But here's the problem with Rubio. When you sweat that much, now think of it. So you have Putin, he's sitting over here. And he's waiting to kill the stupid Americans because he's been just destroying us so badly. So he figures, oh, and a guy walks in and he's soaking wet and sweating. Hello, hello, can I have some water? And Putin's sitting there, what the hell kind of stuff is this? This is not exactly a poker player, folks.
Clearly had some big successes in the business world, but you've also had some big failures. And let's go straight.
No, I don't think I've had big failures. Donald Trump has always been very, very successful. And so when you say failures, I don't think I've had failures, but let's go ahead. Ask me about a couple.
Okay, Trump hotels and casinos filed for bankruptcy protection 3 times in 6 years.
Okay, let me explain it to you. Very simple.
Isn't that a failure?
Not really. I mean, look, it worked out very well for me. It was very successful. I then levered the company. I took it public. So I had a relatively small piece of the company. And what happened is Philadelphia.
Wait a second, you were chairman of the board.
Excuse me.
You were chairman of the board.
I was chairman, but I didn't run the company. I had nothing to do with running the company. Management ran the company.
You were paid $2 million a year.
Excuse me. I didn't run the company. I'm just telling you.
So what were you paid $2 million a year for?
Excuse me. Because of my genius, okay? Well, Rosie O'Donnell's disgusting. I mean, both inside and out. You take a look at her, she's a slob. She talks like a truck driver. We're all a little chubby, but Rosie's just worse than most of us. But it's not the chubbiness. Rosie is a very unattractive person, both inside and out. If I were running The View, I'd fire Rosie. I mean, I'd look her right in that fat, ugly face of hers. I'd say, Rosie, you're fired.
Mr. Trump, one of the things people love about you is you speak your mind and you don't use a politician's filter. However, that is not without its downsides, in particular when it comes to women. You've called women you don't like fat pigs, dogs, slobs, and disgusting animals. Your Twitter account
Only Rosie O'Donnell.
No, it wasn't. Your Twitter account.
Thank you.
For the record, it was well beyond Rosie O'Donnell.
Yes, I'm sure it was.
Your Twitter.
Well, I have, you know, she gets out and she starts asking me all sorts of ridiculous questions. And, you know, you could see there was blood coming out of her eyes, blood coming out of her wherever.
I want to get paid the same as a man, and I think you understand that. So if you become president, will a woman make the same as a man? And do I get to choose what I do with my body?
You're going to make the same if you do as good a job.
Our governor here in Massachusetts, Charlie Baker, has described some of your comments about women as reprehensible. Do you have a response to that?
No, he must have been talking about Jeb Bush. because, frankly, Jeb Bush said he didn't want to fund women's health issues, and then he came back a few hours later and he said he misspoke. I think he must be talking about Jeb Bush. He's not talking about me.
I will take care of women. I respect women. I will take care of women. You said you're going to cut funding for women's health issues. You said it. Yeah, except you said it.
I want to.
Jeb will be very poor as a president. No energy.
Okay, yes.
Jeb Bush a frequent target of yours, and what do you think
Well,
about
I would say Jeb Bush is a frequent target because when this whole thing started, I thought he was going to be the primary competition, but he's drifted very much to the middle of the pack and he's rapidly disappearing. So we're going to have to start looking at somebody else.
This is a tough business to run for president.
I know. You're a tough guy, Jeb.
And we need to have a leader that is
real
principled.
tough.
You're never going to be president of the United States by insulting your way to the presidency.
Let's see. I'm at 42 and you're at 3. So
Doesn't matter.
far I'm doing better.
Doesn't matter.
So far I'm doing better. You know, you started off over here, Jeb. You're moving over further and further. Pretty soon you're going to be off the end.
This doesn't do a thing to solve the problem.
One at a time.
It doesn't do a thing to solve the
Hugh, go ahead.
Subject my wife into the middle of a raucous political conversation was completely inappropriate, and I hope you apologize for that, Donald.
Well, I have to tell you, I hear phenomenal things. I hear your wife is a lovely woman.
She is.
I
She's
don't
fantastic.
know her, and this
She
is
is
a total
absolutely the love of my life, and
mischaracterization of what
she's
I
right
said.
here, and why don't
Good.
you apologize
Good.
for her?
No, I won't
right
do that
now.
because I said nothing wrong, but I do hear she's a lovely woman.
Who owns the New York Times? Is that Carlos Slim?
He has a piece of it.
Yeah, he is the wealthiest man in the world.
And he's a good guy. I know him.
Do you know Carlos Slim?
Good guy.
How much money is that guy worth?
He's got a lot of money. I don't know what it is.
It's got to be like 100
Under
billion.
siege, yes, 60 billion or something.
Oh my God.
Under siege, but that's okay.
And what is it? It's none of my business. But what are you worth? A guy like you.
They say I'm only worth $9 billion.
$9 billion?
Yeah.
Only worth $9 billion.
I don't feel so good when you mention Carlos Slim.
Yeah.
Donald J. Trump is calling for a total and complete shutdown of Muslims entering the United States until our country's representatives can figure out what the hell is going on. We have no choice. We have no choice.
Republican presidential frontrunner Donald Trump is facing heavy criticism after calling for a, quote, total and complete ban on Muslims entering the United States. Mr. Trump joins us now on the phone. He wants to make the case. Mr. Trump, thank you for joining us. Your proposition is plain: ban all Muslims until we can figure out what's going on. People are asking you how you would do that. I say let's put that to the side. It's irrelevant. It's about the concept. You have leaders from your own party in the key states of Iowa, New Hampshire, South Carolina. You have galvanized political rivals all saying this is un-American and extreme and that it makes you a fascist. How do you respond?
Well, I totally disagree.
Male scandal?
Put it through your head.
Look,
they are looking
everybody
to come
knows
over.
who we're
they
at
are
war
looking
with.
to do great damage. You look at what's going on in the Middle East. They're chopping off heads. They are looking to come over to other places, too. And they want the jihad.
Right,
it's very simple.
But you're
they
saying,
want the jihad.
You're what does that mean, they
Chris,
want the
excuse me,
jihad?
Chris.
Well, you can't just throw out notions without any kind of checking of them. You know, this is what got you wound up on the Philadelphia Inquirer front page like Hitler. They got you in a personage of Hitler right now, a characterization of that.
Philadelphia Inquirer, another newspaper.
Well, I know, you're going to disparage
business.
whoever criticized.
I was asking you that. Are you racist?
I am the least racist person that you have ever met. I am the least racist person.
Are you bigoted in any way?
I don't think so. I'm doing a big favor. I was just called by one of the most important people of the Middle East and just said to me, Donald, you have done a tremendous service to the Muslims.
When it comes to Donald Trump, if you don't buy the hype, be prepared for hypothermia. At a rally in Burlington, Vermont on Thursday night, Trump was interrupted by protesters.
Get him out. Take him out. Get him out of here. Yeah, don't give him his coat.
How much fun is he having?
Don't give him his coat. Keep his coat. Confiscate his coat. You know, it's about 10 degrees below zero outside. Now, you can keep his coat. Tell him we'll send it to him in a couple of weeks.
Trump views the protesters as a badge of how not boring he is.
But isn't this more exciting, though, than these other routes where they have no protesters, nobody cares. Nobody cares. They go in, everybody falls asleep. They say, "Can I go home now, darling?" And everyone leaves. And the guy's standing there, "Please vote for me."
The frequent disruptions came despite Trump's efforts to keep critics out. Ticket-holding attendees were asked if they supported the billionaire businessman before being let into the 1,400-seat venue. The loyalty oath screening helped cut down the crowd since the Trump's campaign released more tickets than the venue had seats. One protester told the New York Times that the line to get in the theater, quote, is like nothing I've ever seen in Burlington. Not for fish, not on free cone day, nothing. You heard it, Trump is bigger than free ice cream. Wow. Well, Tucker, look, how different is Trump's loyalty oath from the oath that you take before you do this show?
Very, very similar. Bernie Sanders supporters bought a bunch of tickets. That's why Trump released more tickets than they had seats, because they were trying to make sure that it wasn't full. The point that he had a rally in Burlington, Vermont. The Vermont primary is not germane to the Republican nomination process. I don't think this has ever happened, ever. Why is the frontrunner on the Republican side holding a rally in Burlington, Vermont? I'm not sure I know the answer, other than he can. It's hilarious. He's running a completely national campaign. He has not a single consultant that I'm aware of. I'm not endorsing Trump, though I'm very close at this point because it's just so funny.
Yes.
But there's nobody advising him on the process. He's just doing exactly what he wants at all times.
Now, do you have insiders who tell you that? I've been wondering, who is it? Who makes those?
No, I know that for a fact.
You do?
He does not. There is no one around Trump who's saying, okay, this is exactly where you need to be. This is what you need to say. I mean, a normal campaign is filled with guys making millions of dollars telling the candidate what to say and think, and certainly telling him all about the details of the process. I mean, there's got to be a downside to this at some point. I'm not sure Trump understands how you get the nomination. But no normal candidate on the Republican side would ever hold a rally in Burlington 3 weeks before the Iowa caucuses. Are you kidding? It's insane.
I think that's why it's so great.
He's having
so much fun.
Exactly.
He doesn't care. And you'd think at this point maybe it'd start wearing down. Oh, Trump can't win. No, he's loving it even more. He was riffing with the guy about get his coat out of here. He's making up the temperature outside. He was having a blast.
Wait a minute. You mean get that guy out of here, take his coat from him, wasn't in the teleprompter?
It may have been, but he's anti-teleprompter, as all Republicans should be.
Yes. Now, Jeff, you're a socialist, but you support the Patriots, so I think we're kind of even.
Yes, we are. Absolutely.
Yeah, I'm good with you on that.
Thank you.
So are you a Bernie guy?
I am an undecided guy. I'm open-minded. I happen to love Trump in a lot of ways. I love that not only is he having fun, but he was pretty clever, because if you think about, take the guy's coat, he plays to disproving global warming. He plays to the Vermont people who are more into layers than they are into coats. And he also, he just sort of, he's a bold guy, and I love the fact that he will just riff. And he's having a great time.
He says what he feels, right, Remy? And he has a right to control who comes to his rallies, doesn't he?
Who comes to his rallies, but not what he does with their personal property. His statement was basically saying, I'm going to commit a crime, right? If you, if you take ownership, if you knowingly deprive the rightful owner of his or her property, that's a crime. It's unlawful. If you do it with the intention of keeping it, that is not giving it back to the owner, that's called theft, right? That's not a surprise to anyone.
But these people are Bernie supporters, so we're merely redistributing their coats to the homeless.
There you go.
The people who really need it.
Joanne, that's very, very true and impressive. Unfortunately, not a defense to theft.
Okay.
Even if he's going to hold on to it, as he says, for a couple of days or weeks, that's still unlawful.
But have you ever seen a presidential candidate commit larceny at his own rally? I mean, it is without precedent. We really need to stop and appreciate this. This will never happen again in our lifetimes. Enjoy it.
You're worried about the rule of law, but Trump's not going to care about that. And the only way to stop a bad guy with a coat is to take away his coat.
Yes, yes, that's fearless, right? Very bold. Let's take some stranger's coat from him.
Well, Joanne, look, he went to Vermont. I think he wants to show that in the heart of liberal America, he has those supporters. That's the idea of Trump, that they're coming out of the woodwork, right?
Oh, they're everywhere, is the thing. Even in the places you might not expect them. As to why he went to Vermont, I'm not sure. Definitely, I think he wants more like Ben & Jerry's flavors, maybe, named after him. I don't know what they might be, but they would definitely be winners.
If that is an idea. They should name something after Trump, something golden and wonderful, because it would sell, even though they don't like Trump. Okay, meanwhile, far from Vermont, where protesters failed, Jeb Bush has managed to knock Trump down a peg or two. The billboards in Iowa paid for by Right to Rise, Bush's $100 million super PAC. Tucker, take a look at that. How much first of all, I mean, is this good for Jeb, or it almost everything kind of comes off as an ad for Trump, doesn't it?
It's pathetic. I mean, coming from the candidate who attacked Trump for his name calling, for him to use his super PAC to put up billboards name calling is a little much. This isn't an argument against Trump. It's a primal scream. I can't believe this guy is taking from me my rightful place as the Republican frontrunner. I mean, you can make arguments against Trump, real ones, adult ones, but this isn't one of them. And neither was the skywriting that said Trump is a fascist that you saw over the Rose Bowl on New Year's Day. I mean, the reaction of the establishment to Trump is dumber and more pathetic than anything Trump has said.
Well, you have to remember, though, Jeb Bush said he didn't like being the front runner.
Yeah.
He said he has said he enjoys being a little farther back.
Yeah.
So I think he's realizing now he wants to get up front again, but this is not the way to do it. This is just as sad as his campaign. It's like half-hearted and
shouldn't he go after
lame.
Some of the guys in the middle? Maybe go after Christie, maybe go after Rubio, something like that, instead of going after Trump. I don't know if it works. All right.
He's being baited. He's being baited to play Trump's game, which is a mistake.